Calle, what sort of response are you anticipating from the group tonight coming off the loss Monday?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like today everybody's ready to go. Obviously, we put that loss behind us, but we're coming out hungry today for sure.
What is the biggest point of emphasis, do you think, for the group to get back rolling?
Yeah, just get our game going. Get the puck to the net for sure, and have some bodies there as well.
When you look at the opposition, what sticks out most to you about the threat of the Dallas Stars?
Yeah, I mean, they have some really good players over there. They're off to a hot start, so it's gonna be a challenge for us today.
Any emotional attachment to playing this team, considering your time in Nashville?
Yeah, I mean, we played them a ton. Played them a ton in the playoffs as well. So yeah, I guess that's it. I've been playing these guys a lot over the years.
Do you expect Nick Robertson to feel like playing tonight?
Yeah, I mean he's been great. I can't wait to see him play tonight, and especially playing against his brother too is gonna be big for him.
How would you describe the chemistry on your line, getting used to those guys, and where you feel you guys are at as a group?
Yeah, I feel like we had some bad games, we had some good games. I think we can be a little better, and I think we're gonna get better as longer we play with each other too.
What can you learn from the bad games?
Just not have a bad game again. I mean, you can always learn stuff, even if you play good or if you play bad. You can always take some stuff with you.
What's the most important thing for you guys as a group? When you guys as a line are playing well, what do you think is working and clicking?
I think we work hard. We put the puck deep, and we go to work, and we make it hard for the opponent.
A lot of interest in the team, obviously, the last couple of days when things didn't go well. Your first time in this market, just curious what you think or how much attention you pay to all the stuff going on inside.
Yeah, I mean, I don't pay a lot of attention to any of that stuff, to be honest with you.
As you reflected on the penalty late in that game the other night, obviously we can see you were frustrated at the time. Are you still frustrated that got called, or do you reflect on it and say, I gotta be different there?
No, I mean, we have a new game today. I don't think about that anymore. I mean, it's a tough game for me. I had 2 penalties, and they scored 2. Without those penalties, we probably have won the game, even though we didn't play good. So that's pretty tough to have those penalties. But as I said, it's a new game today.
What did you learn about Jake Oettinger from the playoffs in that series?
That he's a hell of a goalie. Really good.
DJ, what sort of response are you anticipating from the group tonight coming off the loss Monday?
Yeah, obviously tonight's big. It always stings when you lose, and especially like that. So, I think the boys will be ready to come out and play the way that we know we're capable of.
What is the biggest challenge you see on the other side tonight against an undefeated opponent?
Yeah, I think they bring element of speed to the game. Obviously skill. They can make the plays when they're there, and defensively they're just they swarm the puck and they like to clog it up. So I think just being smart, knowing when the plays are there and when you can make them, and when to just live to fight another day and get it in deep.
You had a chance to talk to Jake Muzzin the last couple of days, and how do you think he's doing?
Yeah, he seems good. Hopefully he heals up quick. Obviously he's a big part of the team, and we're all waiting for him to come back.
What kind of challenge does Nick Robertson present to a defenseman?
Yeah, he's shifty, small, so sometimes it's harder to hit the small guys than the big ones. He's obviously skilled, and can make plays in tight, and then he's got the speed. He can blow by you on the outside too. So he's a sort of mixed bag.
How does the group sort of adjust to a game or two, or however long it be without Jake Muzzin?
Yeah, obviously, it's an adjustment, but that's hockey. There's, throughout the season you're gonna have to make those, and you need guys to step up and fill the voids, and that's what we're looking for.
What stands out to you the most about Samsonov?
Yeah, I think just his poise. He's calm in there, and I've been impressed, so far.
Very excited to play tonight. Not only obviously just playing my brother, but just playing my first game of regular season. I think it's an opportunity for me, and trying to make the most of it.
What do you remember most from the game when you went against him last year?
Just a lot of focusing on him, and less of what I had to do. I kind of, you're playing your brother for the first time. It's kind of a mental thing, but now I just I think more is at stake and more of an opportunity this year than last year. So I'm trying to focus on the game and playing Dallas Stars and just having a good game tonight.
What was last night like for you guys?
Well, he couldn't make it to dinner, so.
What?
No. He got in late, so I had to stay at home, but I'll say after the game.
Did you guys talk about your first meeting on the ice in the NHL during the offseason, kind of hash it out?
A little bit. I mean, he doesn't really talk too much about that stuff, but I know he's excited, and we have a bunch of people coming to tonight's game. So.
What's the scouting report on his game like? If you're out there against him, what do you have to be aware of?
Well, just not only him, his line is very deadly. I think they're a very offensive producing line, not only on their team but in the NHL. So, he's a big body, has great skill, great IQ, and he's definitely a player to watch out there.
TJ Brodie was talking about your shiftiness when you're coming at defensemen. He said it's actually sometimes harder to hit smaller guys than bigger guys. Is that something you had to work on, or did that kind of come naturally?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's both naturally because I'm smaller and had to work on because, especially in this league, there's being 5'9" is not the average height here. So I got to find ways to be shifty, and that's definitely worked out in the summer. And I think along with strength training and whatnot, it helped me a lot.
How did you get such a big stall?
I think just being the rookie, I don't mind it. It's a big stall. It's a lot of room for myself.
Just in general, what do you have to do tonight? What makes your game work?
I think just simplify, move my feet, simplify, use my teammates, and when I get the chance, shoot the puck.
What advice does John give you? Does he talk to you about where to be, where to go? Or
yeah, I think it's more when game time comes. It's not really before telling me, you can't predict what the game's going to be like, but it's more of the, get going and let's go, let's have a good one. And I'm the same way too. I want to be positive as I can, and I know I'll talk to him more as the game progresses and things and changes we can make in the game.
What's the importance of this game for the team? Like, what's your sense of the?
Well, they're 3-0, and we're 2-2, so we need to get on the winning column now and kind of start a trend. I think this is only the beginning of the season, but it's probably crucial that we get these points later in the year. So it's a big game for us. They're a great team, and I think it's kind of the first time we're going to play against a really top team in the league, and they play against us too. So it's going to be a big game tonight. I hope we get the win.
You like the feel around the group coming off that loss Monday?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't play the game, but I'm sure everyone's hungry to get the win here and sharpen up the details and whatnot. And again, Dallas is a top team, so I'm sure we're going to bring our game.
The response are you expecting coming off that game Monday night?
I'm expecting a big response. Obviously, that game was a little frustrating for us and not able to get a point or even 2 points. Obviously, they scored pretty late, and then with the goal disallowed and whatnot. So I think the team knows what we have to do tonight, and we have to respond in a big way.
So what are the points of emphasis in terms of the areas of the game that you feel like you have to be better at?
Yeah, I think we just have to capitalize on our chances. We have to just play on the attack. I feel like obviously our offense hasn't been there yet, and we kind of haven't got out of the gate and exploded yet. So I think that's something that we want to focus on is get pucks to the net and just play simple and then let everything come to us.
What is the feel on the line? Is that what you guys have to do as the three? Like Mitch was talking yesterday about how you and him can maybe challenge guys one-on-one more and open up space for Austin. Like, just what's your sense of you guys as a line?
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, we're not off to the start that we all wanted, but I think we just gotta get back to our game that we had success last year. I think I just gotta play more simple, create space for both of them, and like Mitchie said, create space, attack one-on-one, and then give Matty that shot. So obviously he only has one goal, and that's not gonna last very long. So it's just a matter of time until he explodes as well. So I think we want to be a big part of this team. We want to play a big role, and obviously as one of the top lines, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to perform. So I know myself, I do that as well. So I'm looking forward to getting out there tonight and having a good game.
Do you sense any angst in the market? Like, you're a local guy. Like, do you feel like the city wants you guys to get going? How would you describe that?
Yeah, obviously I know how passionate the fan base are. is and fan base is, and I grew up here, so I know exactly that everyone bleeds blue in the city. So, but no, I try to not take any of that pressure onto myself. I just ignore that stuff, and I just kind of try to play a team game and be there for my teammates and play a role that helps us win every single night. So I think I gotta do a little bit better at that, and I think once we kind of get rolling, this part of the season we'll forget about, hopefully. So.
Do you think there's almost more pressure on you guys because the expectations are so high and you have so much talent?
Yeah, like obviously there is pressure, but I feel like we do a really good job about ignoring that and just kind of focusing on what's in this room and the team in this room, and we don't let the outside noise bother us at all. So I think we all do a really good job at that, and I think that we play that to our strength.
What do you think Nick Robertson can bring to the lineup tonight?
Yeah, Robbie obviously has that shot that is he has a hard shot, and he's going to be buzzing all around, and obviously he's playing his brother tonight, so I'm sure he wants some bragging rights against him. So I think he's going to bring a lot of energy, and I expect a big game out of him.
How much of an obstacle did Jake Ottinger present to you guys?
Yeah, obviously he started off the season really well, and he hasn't let many goals in. So we just kind of got to get to him, got to get pucks to the net and get in his way, and not make it easy for him, and not let him get into his rhythm, because obviously he is a really good goalie.
Sheldon, what's the biggest challenge the Stars present to your side tonight?
Well, probably the biggest thing is they're just seem to be, firing on all cylinders right now. Their special teams have been good, goaltending's been good. They haven't given up much defensively. They're a deep team, 4 lines, 3 deep pairs. For all of that, I think it's just a team that's coming in feeling really good at what they're doing. They've really been perfect through 3 games here and outscoring their opponents 13-3. So, it's a team that we certainly need to be prepared for.
How much are you guys looking forward to getting on the ice with the last couple of days behind?
Yeah, I think for sure. Ready to move on.
Do you see much change in the Stars' style of play since they have a new coach?
Yeah, I think a lot more aggressive on offense, I would say, for sure. That's noticeable. Still, though, have a good attention to detail defensively and are not giving up a lot. They seem to have another step or two in terms of their pace of play. But it's early in the season, so I don't know if you would draw too many conclusions to all of that. But that's what we see. It's just that they look good on offense, look good on defense, good on special teams and in goal. So that's why they've had success here in the early going.
Sheldon, I think there have been 29 games this year where they've been comeback victories, and there's been a lot of games where teams have come back from multiple goal deficits. What do you make of that? Do you just think it's an early trend, or is there anything?
Yeah,
it's not exactly new, but it's
right. If I had to just hang it on something, it would be the early going and all of that. I mean, last season it seemed there was a real uptick in the amount of goals that were scored, and maybe early on, if you were asked me that question, I would have said it's just early and that'll level off, and it didn't. So, who knows what that's about? But I think a lot of coaches out there would say it's early going, and we'll get that sorted out.
Is it Ilya in that tonight?
I'm sorry?
Is it Ilya in that tonight?
It is, yes. Yeah.
What's your sense of the group, Sheldon, coming off the game Monday? What do you see that you like that makes you think they're ready for the challenge that you're going to face tonight?
I mean, I think our guys just, you have a day off, you have a good practice day, and then, it's the reality of the NHL schedule is you got to get ready for the next one. And we've got a lot of experience in the room and a lot of confidence in who we are. We don't like how that game played out. At the same time, there's still a lot of really good things in the game in the sense that, we had the puck, a lot in the game. We want to execute better on special teams, and I think that can really help a lot of things. So that's an area we definitely need to be better today, and we're going to be challenged in that regard because Dallas on both sides, power play and penalty kill, looks really good here to start the season. So, I think the reality is that we just are ready to move on to the next challenge.
Sheldon, you've been pretty fired up this year, early this season, and some of your comments after games and I'm wondering if you thought you were going to approach the season that way, or is it really just spur of the moment, how you felt a couple of times?
Well, it's a little bit of both. I mean, you know, it's a combination of the fact that, you know, we had talked before the season began about the importance, you know, of being really consistent and having our game as often as we can look like ourselves. And you know, right from game one, that wasn't the case. You know, even though you have a lot of good things that happen in preseason and you had a lot of confidence going in, you get out there and it doesn't look that way. And you know, for a team that's been together as long as ours has, you know, we have new players and stuff like that. But obviously, the identity of our team and the core of our team has remained the same. So there's an expectation that you would start at a really high level, and you don't. So I think that was disappointing. And you know, the Washington and Ottawa games, I think, are good games for us, and we feel good about those games. And then, you know, the Arizona game's a funny game, but we've been talking about not leaving those points on the table. And it just so happens the schedule, we get you know, two opponents there that were type of teams that we struggled with last season, and the expectations we'd improve there, and we didn't. So I think it's more just a symptom of that than anything. I don't know if I had necessarily a game plan to how I was going to approach the early going here, other than to say that there's a high expectation that our group would continue to grow and having a good start to the season, particularly in those types of games, we would be better, and we haven't been.
The fact you had to pull back a little bit from your commentary yesterday, more of a product of today's athlete than it is of what you had to say?
It's probably more a reflection of coaching the Toronto Maple Leafs and dealing with you all than anything, just to make sure that the way that I'm communicating is more clear, because the reaction to the comments was not what I was trying to communicate. So it's more so about managing the media than it is about managing the players.
What do you want your game to look like? In a perfect world, what is it that you want the Leafs to play like?
Well, I think it's a team that it's going to be really good and responsible with the puck. It's going to have good situational awareness. It's going to make plays when the opportunities are there to do so. It's going to attack the net when there's opportunities to do so, and it's going to be really committed and relentless to pressure the puck to get it back when we don't have it. Be very good on special teams, and be able to maintain a pace of play that is consistent throughout a game because of the depth that we have. I think we've, at different times, really in every game, in different times we've looked that way. The games we've done it more frequently, we've gotten good results, and when we've gotten away from that, it hasn't worked its way out.
Do we get more inside?
Well, I think it's to recognize the opportunities and the windows that are there to do so. I felt we've done some good jobs. When you look at the game-winning goal that we scored against Ottawa, you know, at a critical time in the game when we'd given up the lead, and you know, you could just sort of ride it out. And that's a game where we were struggling to get inside, but there was a window of opportunity there to get in. If you sort of pause that picture right when Justin Hall puts that puck in the net, we're right there with our sticks on the inside. That's a pretty good example of just a team that's making it hard on you all game, but within the game, there are opportunities, and you have to recognize those, and you have to get there. Sometimes you don't want to go inside because they just have you outnumbered, and it's just not the right time, and you're probably just going to give the puck away, and then it's going to be going the other way. But there were a lot of opportunities in the Arizona game the other night where we didn't recognize and we didn't execute and we didn't attack. So you want to really find that balance, and more often than not, you just want to default to the attack mode. And if we happen to give up some pucks in doing so, then we'll work to get those back. But I think it's just more of a recognition thing, and that perhaps is a symptom of it being early in the season, and also, playing a game in which you have the puck on your stick 80% of the time.
Nick Robertson, it's an emotional game for him tonight, season debut facing his brother. Have you seen growth? He's talking about simplifying his game a bit this year. Have you seen growth in terms of how he manages the emotions in game?
I have. I mean, he's a guy's come in, I mean, you talk about being an important game today. Every day has been important for him since he's been here, since the start of camp, and I think he's handled that extremely well. You know, he even the fact that he gets, you know, sent down to the Marlies, that's a tough pill to swallow, understandably, but he did that, went down and played well, and now here he is, he's back. So just the way he's handled all of that, but also, yeah, within his game, we think we've seen growth and maturity in his game, and sort of a recognition that he doesn't have to take on everything every shift and feel like every shot has to go in the net. I mean, there's an understanding of the process and the patience that has to come with just being consistent and going out shift after shift and doing what the game calls for and what the system calls for. And we've really seen him take really big steps in that regard from the start of camp, and maybe took them some time to get there. You know, Traverse City wasn't quite that. You know, and then that in itself for a guy like him can be a tough experience because he's frankly better than the event in terms of the caliber of play and such. But since he's come back to the NHL, things have kind of recalibrated themselves for him, and the results have been good, so we're looking for that to continue today. It's funny how these scheduled things work out. Obviously, we talked about Samsonov, you know, playing against his former team and such, and then, you know, Nick here today. That's the way the schedule falls, which I'm sure from a family perspective is a neat and cool thing. But, you know, for Nick, it's just go out and play and keep doing the things you were doing in camp.
Can you learn from his brother?
I would think so. You know, I think that's natural. It's not anything I've talked to him about specifically. I know our player development staff has spent a lot of time, obviously, with Nick through his path through junior and on to the AHL and then to us. And I know there's a lot of those guys spend a lot of time together. They train together. You know, of course, you're going to be communicating a lot through the season. So I think it's natural that he would learn a lot from him. I think Nick is an ultimate competitor, so I know that he would be pushed and very motivated by the success his brother is having.
How close has Jordy been?
He seems to be getting better. To be honest, I didn't even get a final report of how it went yesterday. I know he left the ice sort of as planned. He didn't do the entire skate, but I guess all I could say is that he's progressing, but I don't have much of an update there with both either he or Timothy.
What do you make of Marchman's trajectory here as a player breaking out in the NHL?
Well, first of all, incredibly proud of him and happy for him because he's a guy that's had a long road and put in a lot of work to get to this point. I think there's probably not a lot of people in hockey that had a lot of belief in his ability to get there. Started out with the guy even coming out of junior hockey. You weren't quite sure what he was going to be, but Kyle and our scouting staff really believed in him, gave him an opportunity to grow, and it was a longer road than he probably would have even liked to really solidify himself in the AHL. And then obviously when we made the trade, he went to Florida. It was sort of even then was kind of a bit of a rocky road for him and trying to find his way there in Florida. I know they went to the bubble. Initially, Florida didn't even bring him as part of that bubble experience, which I know was a setback for him. But he just kept working his way through that. And then once he got his opportunity, it seems like he hasn't looked back. So incredibly proud of him. He came to see me the last time he was in here last year when the Panthers came in, and it was nice to see him. And obviously it was a real hard moment for him and his family this summer with the passing of his father, but it seems as though that has inspired him to great things to get off to a great start here in Dallas. So it's really great to see how it's worked out for him.